Away Gamer here, and I'm going to be reviewing the NES accessories. Well, I know there's plenty of them, but I'm going to review the ones that I personally own, because I just, because NES is a good system, right? So, we are all familiar with the regular NES remote, right? Simple D-pad. Oops. D-pad, select, start, and then B and A. Simple, right? Now, I'm not going to review this, because it's an accessory, but it's the main kind, so, what's the point? We all know that remote. But I will review this, a weirdly designed NES remote, because I know it's just a different model of it, but still, it's very different from the, it's different from the regular, standard kind, so why not? So let's turn on the TV, and plug that guy in. Or he's already plugged in. And yes, I have a different TV than that. This is just the TV hook that our NES is hooked up to. So let's test it on a game such as Super Mario Brothers. A simple one, right? So let's blow on it to ensure that it's working. Let's pop it in, and we'll try it. Okay. There we go. Let's try it. Now it controls fine. Got running, start, select, but the feel of it is different, and the only difference that I find it really, which is why I call it weirdly designed and it's hard to control, is because, look at the B and A buttons. Now I know we have this on the DS, but for an NES it just feels weird. Look. The B and the A are diagonal from each other. That is not good. What if I'm trying to run and I'm gonna jump and I'm thinking the A button's gonna be to my right, but no, it's a little further up above my finger. So So, toss that in the garbage. Now we are gonna review the one and only Nintendo Zapper. NES shooting gun. Yeah. So, now what you gotta do is you gotta plug this guy into the second player port. Yes, you heard me, second player. Because you need the first remote to control the menu, even though you can do that with the gun by shooting at what you wanna select. Whatever, let's plug it into the second player spot if that's what they want us to do. And I don't see a lot of games we have that use the light gun. The Nintendo Zapper, so I'm gonna use the familiar one, Duck Hunt. Made specifically for the Nintendo Zapper. Let's plug it in. Oops. Let's plug it in a little more. There we go. Oh, no. Now you can select with the remote, or you can shoot at what you want to do. So I'm going to game A. Now all you do is you aim through here like that. It's hard to, yeah. And if you want, you can cheap it. If you want, you can cheese it and go straight in front of the remote. If you're not a cool player. And this is pretty much it. Now, you'll notice a flashlight on the screen. Whenever you, shoot, that shows where you're aiming. That's how it uses a light to help, and yeah, that's just basically Nintendo Zapper. It's cool. On to the next accessory. What accessory is it? It is the NES Advantage. Oh yeah. So let's plug this guy in. Now, one thing you may notice. This is unusual. It has 2-player chords. So you can play this, and there's a switch that says 1 player, 2 player. So you can switch between a player 1 and a player 2. This is good for games such as Gyromite. If you know that game, you'll know what I'm talking about. The second player remote controls the B and A buttons, and the first player controls the directional pad. So with this flip the switch, you can just do that without using a Rob the Robot, or just having to hold 2 remotes. Now, you don't have to plug in both, but it's cool if you, but I guess it's cool if you want. And we'll test it out. Hang on. Do I have this right now? Although it's hard telling which plug-in goes where. Otherwise you're gonna have the controls backwards. Yep. So try to find out which one goes first player and which one goes second player. And we'll try it. Now I don't have Gyromite, which I could have easily showed how this works. I'll just put Super Mario Brothers back in. Let's say you want. So, select and start are featured over here. Okay, some select buttons jam. You see, it works fine. You have a joystick, functions good. Functions good. But you have 2 giant B and A buttons. Why are they so huge, and why are they flashlights? Well, you might wonder what are these 2 buttons up top for. Well, these are the turbo buttons. The turbo button on the B button activates the B turbo. And A activates A turbo. What do you think the turbo means? Well, turbo means you hold the A button, for example, and it continuously presses the A button rapidly. And this switch here shows how fast you want it to push, how fast you want the A button to be pressed, just by holding it. So you can see, I'm continuously jumping. Now, you probably could do this on your own, but having a turbo controller just helps it. This is probably out of the turbo controllers I own, this is probably the best one. Well, I only own 2, but still. Now let's see what the B button would look like as a turbo. So let's just go ahead and grab a fire flower to kind of test out turbo on here. Now, turbo button. Let's turn the switch down first. Fireball's just good. Speed it up. Man, look at that. You're firing out the wazoo with the turbo button. Now, here's where this 2-player feature comes in. Hang on. Nope. So let's say you want to play 2 players, but you don't have a second player with you. This button can fix that if you want. If you want to play as Luigi, just select 2-player on a game. But this, and let's say you're playing as Mario with the first player, and you die. Well, now since you're playing this remote, you can't control Luigi obviously, but switch to 2-player, bam, Luigi controls because you have the second player hookup. And vice versa. Now this doesn't work on all 2-player games like Contra where you play 2 players at the same time. That would just be crazy. And again, vice versa. Flip the switch, play as Mario. And the slow down button. This doesn't slow down the game, it just pauses it over and over, which I guess can slow it down, but it's really annoying, especially when you're playing a game like Mario Brothers. But let's test it out though. Why not? Let's test it out. let's test it out on Tetris. See, the slowdown could work. Let's try level 9 at slow speed. Maybe that could help. Well, it doesn't help as much on level 9. But it tries to slow it down. So let's slow down. Okay. Alright. Doesn't really slow down that much on this. But waiting for the next brick. Oh, this is just too painful to watch. I'd enjoy playing this speed. So, the slowdown controls aren't that well. No matter. See you in part 2 of any of my NES accessories.